Hello guys, we're going to be looking at PixInsight's Drizzle process, and I have covered this in prior videos, but it wasn't the main topic. It was something that we just did in the processing steps. So what I thought I would do is kind of look closer into the Drizzle process and show you some comparisons of the data from two different refractors. One, a 330 millimeter telescope kit with an ASI 1600, and it is slightly undersampled. And then I have a Vixen 81 EDS, which is a 625 millimeter refractor. And according to Astronomy tools, it shows that that combination with average seeing conditions is ideal. So if that is ideal, then to drizzle your data would be a waste, probably a wasted step. So we're going to look at that, and we're going to decide whether or not it's a wasted step. And then I think what it does is it opens up the possibilities of drizzling data that may in fact not be undersampled, or may be properly sampled, just because of the brilliance really of this process. So let's go to PixInsight and let's take a look. I've already opened a project. I haven't really started working on the project, but I'm going to take a look at the HA data, and this data has been drizzled. I'm going to set this over here, and I'm going to zoom in. Let me find a good place to do this comparison. Let's show some, there we go. We want to see stars that are both bright and kind of dim. And so this data has been drizzled, and this is HA that hasn't been drizzled. And so we're going to do a comparison, and I'm going to take the HA tab and drop it right on top of this to give us a match. And so what I want to look at are the stars, the small stars, and you see how blocky they look, pixelated. Even when you zoom in to, let's just do that, and let me get even closer. I wasn't close enough. Okay, this star has been drizzled, this star has not, and you can count the pixels if you chose, and you can see that we are undersampled. To me, it's more than slightly undersampled, and that's also relevant, related to your seeing conditions. And I've chosen average, and let's take a look at that. Let's go to Astronomy tools, and if you go to the website astronomy.tools and Google that, and then go over to the calculators, you're going to find CCD suitability. And if you'll select that, kind of scroll down, and you can go through here and pick your telescope, but I just happen to know that my kit that we're looking at is 336 millimeters, and I'm going to go find the camera, though I think it's 3.85, but not positive. And let's find the 1600. Here we go. It's 3.8, and if the scene is between 2 and 4 which is okay scene, and it's what I think I have, then it shows that this combination I'm reading right here leads to a slight undersampling and reduces the influence of guiding error and improves signal to noise at the expense of the finest detail. It's okay for deep sky imaging purposes. So I am undersampled. And if I change the scene to good scene, then it's even more undersampled. It's not slightly. If I change it to poor scene, then I'm falling in the realm of being ideal. So I don't have a full well half maximum between 4 and 5, and actually I'm closer to good scene than I am to the average scene. But at any rate, you can be the judge of what your scene conditions are. But if you choose OK scene, and I have for this comparison, then you can see that I am slightly undersampled. So the other telescope system we're going to look at is a 625 millimeter Vixen. And given the same camera, the scene conditions are smack dab in the middle. They're perfect. They're ideal. It's a great combination for those scene conditions. Well, that being the case, let's look at this. We can already agree that without too much, there's no debate here, but it does appear that the scene conditions, when given average, and you compare whether you should drizzle or not drizzle, I think it's easy to see that drizzling does have a good effect on the image. Also look at the background. The background has more information than the non-drizzled image, and it's just through the algorithm that's interpolating the adjacent pixels and giving them a value that makes this all possible. And again, it's just a brilliant process. So kudos to PixInsight for having this feature. Now, let's go ahead and just close this all out and close all of the current windows, and let's open up another project, and this time let's go to my file and let's pick the 625. That's the Vixen 625 millimeter, and it's going to load this, and I have both my non-drizzled images and my drizzled images. So let's go back and let's open up our HA, and I've already got that sized, and let's open up our non-drizzled images. Let's take the HA and drop it on top. If you drop it right on top of this tab, it'll create two windows that are exactly the same. If you drop it on the bar below the tab, it'll create a mask. So already you can see that this is a ideal sampling situation, and even though it's ideal, these stars are rather pixelated when compared to the drizzled image. And just for the fun of it, let's go back to our astronomy tools, and this is in OK scene conditions. If we're in poor scene conditions, then we are only slightly oversampled. If we go to good scene conditions, then we're still running into really just leads to undersampling, but it's just very slight. So it's not ideal, but it isn't crazy bad. So that being the case, should I drizzle, or should I not take the time that it takes to run the drizzle integration process? Well, when using these wide field telescopes, and I use them a great deal. I use both of them. In fact, they're both mounted to two separate mounts right now on two separate piers in my backyard. And when I image both at the same time, not necessarily the same target, but I run two kits at the same time. So I can honestly tell you that there is no argument, in my opinion, and drizzling is a must. And it improves the image quality immensely. And thank you, PixInsight. So what I want to do now is I want to put those back in their proper place, and I want to show you how to run this drizzle integration. There's several steps, and I suspect that down the road that PixInsight will make it possible to make it just a one-step process and not 2 to 3 steps. But what you'll do is when you run the weighted batch processing script, and let's bring it up, and you go to your lights, you have to place a check in this box where it says generate drizzle data. You'll have to do that. And when you do that, then under the registered folder, because this is in the registration process, under the registered folder, you'll find your HA, your O3, your S2, or your L RGB data, and it will already be drizzled for you. So in fact, let's do that. Once you've ran this and it has completed, then what I would do is open Drizzle integration. I have a process already saved with my information on it, but it's under process, all processes. I lost it. And go down to Drizzle integration and just check that, and this is what you have. So I think the defaults are all I use. I don't think I make any changes. Now, if you're using a one-shot color camera, then you're going to have to enable the color filter array by checking on this, and then you're going to have to enter your Bayer metrics. If your EXIF data in your picture files, image files, is embedded, then it will automatically read and solve for the right Bayer metrics. But if your software doesn't save the Bayer metrics into your FITS header, then it's something you're going to have to add manually. So that can be found on your camera's website. So you enter that if you're using a one-shot color camera. I'm using a mono camera, so that would be unchecked. The first 4 boxes are checked. Yeah, don't fool with region of interest. Drop shrink is the default 0.90, and I've had no reason to change that, and the scale is 2. So let's go find our registered files. And under this September 929, the Vixen, I click on the folder where I have my calibrated, cosmetized, my logs, my masters, and my registered. These are the 3 masters that are my HA, O3, and S2 that are undrizzled. And these are the ones that are drizzled. So if I went to HA and I selected that, then these are the drizzled images. They have a suffix XDRZ, and that's for drizzle. And you just select those and open them up in your software, and then click on apply globally, and you'll have to wait a few minutes for this process to complete. And when you do, you're going to have the capability of comparing your O3 images that have been drizzled with your O3 images that have not, and you can let's find another. Let's go right there. And we can see that the advantages of the drizzled images in the O3, like the HA, are just so far superior. So that's pretty much all I've got to add on that. Why drizzle? Well, see for yourself. More resolution and clarity, less pixelization and blocky looking stars, especially the small stars. So with that being said, don't forget to check on like and subscribe and ring the bell if you got something out of this, and if you didn't, then well, just don't do anything. But I hope you guys have a good day, and catch you later.